Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel. TammyTalks here. Love is Blind, Season 4, Episode 10. Tired of Jackie. Tired of Jackie. Bliss is defensive. It's all going downhill. If you're brand new to my channel, I do breakdowns on various TV shows, both scripted and reality, interjecting my own thoughts, opinions, and theories into each and every recap. So, if you enjoyed that type of content, or if you are here from the first 9 episodes of Love is Blind, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If at any point throughout the video I make you laugh or smile or even cringe, go ahead and rate the video. Hop in the comment section. Talk about this episode. Like, I think some of y'all see a recap go up and y'all just type whatever comes to mind and not this episode. Episode 10. Thank you, next. All right. So it starts off with Jackie and Josh. So y'all know she skipped wedding dress fitting so she can go and meet up with Josh. So she said that she is immediately attracted to him. She said even my nipple stood up. I said, like, your nipple stood up. Okay, to your mind, but all right. So he tells her that he wants to be with her. She goes into ragging on Marshall, which is very, very tacky and unnecessary. She say Marshall is too sensitive for me. I told him to boss up. The reason I was with Marshall is because, he was showing me a love that I had never had before, and I wanted to keep feeling that. So she said that's why she stayed with him. So she was like, I told him to boss up, to man up, and he left for 3 days. So Josh was like, he did the opposite. And she was like, basically, yeah. So Josh is like, how do you think that Marshall's gonna feel? She was like, I don't care how he feels. I said, damn. You don't even care that you about to be like rude. You don't care that you're gonna probably break his heart. You don't care that his feelings are gonna be hurt. That's a little extreme. So so then Josh then says that, does Marshall know that we're meeting up now? And she's like, basically, look, bro, I feel like I chose wrong, yo. I said, you doing too much, Jackie. She feels that she chose wrong and robbed herself from jump. She could see herself marrying Josh, but if he is looking for a TV wedding in the next week or so, she can't give him that now. But she is willing to date him and see where it goes. So he's like, so we're going to try this. And she's like, yeah. They stand up, they kiss, and apparently now they're a couple. Keep this in mind, Josh. The way you get someone is the way that you lose them. Because who's to say that a man that's a little taller, a little more muscular, a little more aggressive, has more tattoos, has a deeper voice, because Josh's voice is pretty light, has a deeper voice, is going to come in and she's going to throw you to the side the same way she did Marshall, because she's going to see the next man that's more appeasing to her. She going to get the same treatment that Zach is going to get. Okay, let's get into it. So then we have Marshall. Marshall was back at the tux fitting, and he's telling his friends that, you know what, she didn't even show up. So he feels, hell, why am I even, showing up and going through with the tux fitting? We don't need to do any of this. So he gets ready to leave, and he said that she could have at least texted him and been honest about it, which is true. If you don't want to go forward with this, a simple conversation can happen so that he's not wasting his time, his friends aren't wasting their time, he's not getting embarrassed. Like the stream, or not the stream, the sequence of events and how this happened was shitty. It was shitty. I saw people in the comments for the last video saying, well, at least she's being honest. And no, y'all. So I feel like some of y'all just really be caping for people, knowing damn well that if it happened to you, you would be livid. But okay. So the wedding dress and tux fitting shopping, like, I feel like nothing major really comes out of those. Micah's friend is now sober. Okay. So she now shockingly supports the union. Okay, girl. Kwame brought another guy from the pods that used to date Chelsea. I said, what type of shit is that? Kwame has now brought a friend, a brother, and nothing, a co-worker, and nothing for Chelsea to meet. For that reason alone, Chelsea, you shouldn't be wanting to go through with this. But he's telling this guy that it feels like her life is getting easier, his is getting hard. He feels like he's the one that's going to be making all of the sacrifices. And he knows that marriage is compromised, but he's making all the concessions, all of the sacrifices to him. Y'all keep trying to get on Kwame because he doesn't want to have to make friends. As an adult, it's not easy for adults to make friends though. You know what I mean? The fact that he works from home, like I just kind of feel like yes, it makes more sense for them to move to Seattle. But the way that some of y'all are like, well, he could just up and move. Think before y'all say that in the comments, okay? Before y'all say that in the comments, would you uproot your life and move to a city where you don't know anybody just for your wife or for your spouse and you're conceding to everything? Y'all wouldn't. Y'all wouldn't. As much as we don't like Kwame, I still kind of feel like his reactions and how he is handling Chelsea being like, well, just give up everything and move with me and my family and all this. It's gonna affect him. It's gonna affect him. And then we got Micah looking sweaty face as Chelsea was talking about how like great Kwame is as a person. So back at the house, we get Marshall and Jackie. He asked her, why did you accept my proposal? She said because what she felt for him in the pods was real. She said that the outside world got to them. He said got to us or got to you. I said, I know that's right, Marshall. Don't let her make it seem like you were the problem. So she said that she's emotionally drained. She said that for her, kind of like the final straw, she was fed up when after Chelsea's party, he wanted to talk. She wanted to go to sleep. And I guess for her, that was the final straw, him wanting to have a conversation. So she said that she cannot give him what he wants and what he needs. He tells her, I ain't asked you for a goddamn thing. I said, come on, Marshall. Because I feel like even though Jackie is honest in her feelings that she is just like she doesn't want to be with him, that's perfectly fine. But the way that Jackie handled this conversation was shitty. It was, y'all. So he said that he's never asked anything of her. She said that he needs a lot of security. We didn't really see that part, so can't speak on anything with that. He said that everything is always on her terms. Every single thing is on her terms. Marshall, your red flag should have been she has not introduced you to anybody. This woman has all but pushed you away. She don't want you, Marshall. She don't want you. You should have saw that probably a week and a half ago. So she said that when she sees Marshall or when they're together, she doesn't have the you know when you know type of vibe with him. So because of that, like, it's just not there. She then goes on to tell him, I can't love you because I'm attracted to Josh. You know what? As a matter of fact, I met up with Josh and we had bomb ass chemistry. And you know what? I don't know if I'm going to be with him, but we'll figure it out. And I'm like, that whole paragraph, that whole section, you didn't have to tell him I met up with old boy earlier that day. That was just her. I feel like Jackie is the type that she felt like she was losing this conversation. She felt like she was losing. So in order for her to gain the upper hand, she wanted to make Marshall hurt for whatever reason. So he tells her that was hurtful because it was. It was hurtful. It was hurtful to be like, you know what, I don't love you. I'm going to go be with old boy. And it's like, it's unnecessary to say. Just break up with him. So he then asks for his ring back. She had the audacity, the gall, the temerity to say, no, I'm going to keep it. No. If you call off as a fiance, as the female fiance, if you, or I should say not the one, female fiance, if you, as the person that was proposed to, if you call off the wedding, you give that ring back. That's not yours. To my knowledge, it's whoever calls off the wedding. That's how I have always understood that to go. She was like, I'm going to keep it because when I accepted it, it meant something to me. AKA, I'm about to go sell this shit so I can get the money for it. So he tells her, you know what? Keep it. And every time you look at it, I want you to remember the good thing that you lost. I said, Marshall, just go on, pack up your shit and go. Pack up your stuff and go. So she was like, take it easy. Maybe I'll see you around. And he's like, nah, you won't. And then she kind of looks like she wanted to cry, or she looked like kind of like offended that he said no. I think Jackie wanted Marshall in that moment to fight for her. She wanted Marshall to get riled up, right? She wanted Marshall to be like, no, you're going to be like, that's what she wanted. And the fact that Marshall didn't do that, it took her off guard. Because we know Jaxie wants an aggressive, toxic love. So it took her completely off guard that he didn't get rah like a dungeon dragon on her about this. And she can't deal with that. So he said in his confessional, he fell in love with the Jackie that was in the pods, the sweet, lovable Jackie. He said this one that's in the real world that's gaslighting and mean and like vengeful and deceitful. He doesn't know who that woman is, but maybe that's the real her. And is. That's the real her, Marshall. That's what Marshall, I'm too old for Marshall. He don't want me, I'm old. So Jackie then said in her confessional that she's sorry. She's like, no, I can't be sorry. I'm not sorry I'm not with him. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I need some self-work. You don't really believe that though. Jackie does not believe she's crazy. Jackie does not believe she needs self-work. Jackie is saying that because she knows that she's going to look mad crazy and she's gonna look mad wild and she's going to be a villain once the episodes air. That's why Jackie was saying that. That's her just wanting to get ahead of it. Jackie doesn't believe that about herself. Because you can tell by the way she said it. Jackie don't believe that about herself. Go now, girl, get. We ain't gonna have no weddings by the time we get to it. So then we have Chelsea and Kwame. So they're doing an engagement photo shoot. Chelsea wants to do boudoir shots. Kwame don't look like he's really into it. He was like, we can start fully clothed, okay? And then we can work our way up to it so that everybody's comfortable. Meanwhile, Chelsea was like, no, we gonna strip down to the skivvies. Get into it. Like, did y'all just did like a free like photo shoot for Calvin Klein, but whatever. So after doing the photos, Chelsea said that this is like a dream of hers, a dream come true for them to do this together. Kwame said that he has never met someone in life that he wants to be with more. Micah, don't act like you don't want Micah's ass. Did you forget? You want to be with Micah. So he still wants to have a conversation with his mom. And Kwame is going to use this as his deciding factor and his excuse to say no during the weddings. So he says that he does not think his mom will show up. He would be lying if he said that he thinks she might. He's never introduced his girlfriends to his parents. He said growing up in his religion, in his culture, that, dating and stuff was very strict. Your parents did, excuse me, your parents kind of planned out your life. And, they also don't believe in premarital sex. He said, my mom might think that I'm a virgin. I said, oh. Isn't Kwame in his 30s? Kwame's in his 30s, right? Your mom thinks you're a virgin? Okay. So she asked him if he is truly and deeply ready. He said that he loves her with all his heart, but there are still some things that makes him take an extra second to think. Quit asking him. I feel like these people come in and they ask their fiancés the same question over and over and over, and then look like when they don't get the answer that they're expecting or the answer that they want. You should be able to tell that man is not all in on you. It's very evident. So she asked him, well, will he say yes without his mother's approval? He does not answer. She then said this will be the biggest letdown of the century. Chelsea, girl, don't give yourself that much. You're giving yourself a lot. So then we get Tiffany and Brett. So Tiffany is stressed, y'all. The wedding planning, the gravity of everything is weighing very heavily on her. Tiffany and Brett are that couple that do not have issues. So because they don't have major issues, Married at First Sight, Love is Blind, needs to find the smallest thing to highlight and make a big deal out of when it comes to them. And that's why they are highlighting this. So she's stressed, she's taking a nap. Brett comes in, he reassures her that, her feelings are understandable. She's like, I don't even know if I want a wedding. Notice the words, y'all. She didn't say marriage, she said a wedding. So they'll work it out. Mike and Paul go to make their own wedding bands. I said, y'all doing a lot for people that's not going to get married. So then we get Kwame. So Kwame calls his mom. She did not answer. He's calling her, texting her. So he calls his brother. And his brother was like, look, when mom's mind is made up, it's made up. You need to do what is best for you. Make the right decision for yourself. Brett and Tiffany then go on like a little date. They get on like a small plane, a seaplane. And he takes her to like this nice like little romantic dinner. And he took some pictures of her like showing her ring. So he got the pictures blown up. They're eating oysters. Like it's a vibe, a whole vibe. And he just lets her know that he is really serious about the commitment they are making. He's excited. He can't wait to marry her. He assures her that he does not have any doubts and he wants her to be honest. And if she has doubts, just let him know. They can talk through it. They can work through it. She said, look, the stress of her crying or her crying from this stress is not because it's of like anything to do with them. It's about her just really hoping and feeling the pressure of her family seeing in Brett what she sees in him. But she feels that she is just one step closer to marrying the man of her dreams. So they'll be fine. They'll be fine, y'all. So then we get Brett and my allergies. Bliss and Zach. Bliss was mad defensive. Let's talk about why. So Zach is nervous about meeting her dad and her stepmom. So Bliss said once again that her dad is not like any of her boyfriends, never felt that they were enough for her. That's standard. I feel like that happens across the world. A lot of men are always going to feel like their daughters, fiancés or boyfriends are not good enough for them. That's just how they are. Same thing with mothers. A lot of mothers always feel that this woman is not good enough for my baby boy. It happens. So Zach is talking to her dad. He don't like to fish. He don't like golf. And he was like, sports isn't my thing. Her dad was like, oh. I feel like men judge other men that don't like sports. It's just men judge other men that don't like sports. Fishing and golf are her dad's two. Those are his two hobbies. You don't like either one of them. So what are we going to do together? Though that was like one strike. So then Zach was like, I'm into law litigation. If it's a jury and a trial, I'm in it. Then he goes on to say, taking away people's driver's license inhibits them from actually being able to go to work. It doesn't, like, he starts getting into it. And I was her dad, like, the fuck are we talking about? Her dad was like, I don't have an opinion either way. Zach went too deep into it. Zach was like in the courtroom mode in that moment. So Zach is talking about how he likes Bliss's character more than her beauty, more than her brains, more than anything. Her dad was like, I ain't trying to be mean, but good luck. I was like, woo. Her dad is tough, but I feel like Zach and Bliss were very, very defensive. One thing I noticed is that Zach never looked her father in the eye. Whenever Zach was talking about Bliss, he was staring at Bliss while talking. And I just kind of feel like men want somebody to look them in the eye. And Zach was not looking her father in the eye. So her dad was like, we have to let intelligence play a factor in our decision making. So Bliss, every time her father was like trying to make a point, Bliss would like quickly try to overtalk him. And her dad would be like, I'm going to lose my train of thought. So she kept trying to derail her dad. Did y'all notice that? So Bliss then goes on to say that her parents' divorce affected her and she does not want to go through the same thing. And her dad was like, but you are. And I know some people are going to take that as rude, but let's be real about this. These Love is Blind couples don't stay married. These married at first sight couples don't stay married. So you are arbitrarily going into this with a very, very high chance at divorce. On top of the fact you were not over the fact that he proposed to Irina first, which you notably did not let Zach talk about. I know that Bliss told Zach, don't bring up Irina, don't bring up that first proposal. So her dad is basically trying to tell her, like, this is a big thing. Like, I didn't see anything wrong with the conversation or the points her dad was putting out. This is expected when you find out your daughter is going to marry somebody they have known for 20 days. I feel like this is expected, but Bliss is very defensive. She's very on the defense. Zach goes to the bathroom. She's trying to convince them that she loves Zach. And I said, are you trying to convince your dad and your stepmom, or are you trying to convince yourself? Are you trying to convince yourself? So she said that she is not getting married just to get married. And her dad was like, that's exactly what you're doing. And I agree. I agree. I agree. I think Bliss just wants to be married. I think Bliss just wants to be married. So her father said in a confessional that he's intelligent, sure, but he does not think he'll be able to match her. So let me know what you guys thought about it. Do you guys think that her dad was too hard? I actually don't. I don't think that her dad went too hard. I think her dad was asking basic questions that most of these parents want to ask but don't want to seem away on camera. Have done in the comment section. Let's talk about it. If you have not already, subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video. Catch you guys in episode 11.